Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Bowman here, and today we are continuing our playthrough of Planescape Torment. Now, I thought we were going to go to Pharod's Court, but I actually forgot something. We got to come back here and see what's with this weird, they're calling it a decanter? Something to do with this statue here, so let's talk to him. Have you found the flask of which I spoke? Yes. A note of eagerness creeps into Glyvy's dead voice. You have it? Pour some of its water across my lips, and I shall tell you what I promised to tell you. Here you go. The clear water from the flask trickles across the stone lips, diluting the filthy flow that spews from the holes. As you watch, the ditch's water slowly dissipates entirely, the dirty tin of it replaced by clear fresh water. Glyvy groans in ecstasy. After a moment, he says, "Do you wish your answer now or later?" "Give it to me now." "Seek out the woman called Namel. She resides in the clerk's ward in Upper Sigil. I know not where exactly. Best of luck in your quest, immortal." The voice seems to phase as it speaks to you.
Updated my journal.
"Thanks, I have some more questions." The stone face is silent. A trickle of clear water runs from the corner of its eye, and the grimace carved into the face has loosened. "I need more answers from you." The face remains impassive and silent. "Very well, then. You know, boss, I was getting really sick of his constant pauses anyway. It's a good thing he shut up now." "Very funny, Mort. Let's go." Okay. I wonder if what's-his-face has anything more to say. Okay. All right. We go the right way? Sure are. Okay. Alright, now we can go back to Pharod. Right? Double check. Oh, we can give this guy his knife back. Here you go. Squinty you. Find me knife, perchance? Yes, I have it. Here it is. He takes the knife and holds it lovingly. "Ah, you're back. Me lucky knife. Thanks, Cutter. And you," he lectures his knife. Shaking it. "Don't you go running off again." He slides the blade back into its sheath with a smile.
Updated my journal.
Farewell. Alright. Back in. "Ah, corpse." Pharod turns as you approach, his crutch cackling on the cobbles of the court. He licks his lips and smiles expectantly. "Have you brought me what I asked? The bronze sphere? Here it is." Pharod's eyes gleam as you hand him the bronze sphere. He touches it gingerly, almost reverently. "You," he chuckles. "Ah, corpse, such a gamble you were, and paid off handsomely you have." Pharod studies his reflection in the sphere and tisks. "The years have been cruel to me, I see." "I did what you asked, Pharod. Now I want some answers." Pharod doesn't even look at you as you speak. His attention is swallowed by the sphere he holds. Yes, ask your questions." Pharod turns the sphere in his hands. "Very important, your questions. What do you know about me? Why was I told to seek you out?" He studies you with a critical eye. "Stay your weapons for what I'm about to say, corpse, for it could be your ears." "Ears will take offense." Pharod smiles wickedly. "My ears no longer care, but yours are still fresh, for burning it seems." "Tell me, Pharod, I'm losing patience." "The truth," Pharod's tone softens, as if cajoling. "The truth was stretched a bit from my mind to my tongue when we first spoke, corpse. In all terrible honesty, I know little about you." He raises a withered finger. "Yet hear me out." "Yes?" "You're Cutter who plays at being dead, as I see." Pharod squints at you. "Some time ago you came to me, like you are now, but not just strolled right into Ilwind Court and said you wanted an audience with me. An audience with you? Aye, an audience. He chuckles, like whispering sand. Like I was royalty. He seems amused, but there is an edge in his voice. You knew the right things to say, you did. Oh yes, you spoke the chant like a governor born true, and I listened. But you were royalty, at least a man of position once, were you not? Once, Pharod hisses, once. Titles, only words, nothing in the end. He lapses into silence and tisks. Knew that too. My history, I think you did. What did I, want from you? Pharod gives a mock bow, his crutch creaking as he leans against it. Oh, Pharod, great collector king, you says, I have come before you and request a boon. A boon, I says. What could I offer a man of such obvious strength? Go on. Pharod wags his crooked finger. And you asked for a strange thing. You says, Lord Pharod, I ask for courtesy. Your collectors roam throughout the hive. If they should find my body, I want it kept safe. That is all I ask. Pharod shrugs. A simple boon. I see. And is that all you know? Before you can speak, you suddenly feel a prickling in your skull as Pharod speaks the words boon, and the smell of blood and fear rushes through your nostrils. Pharod is hiding something, something that happened in the past involving you, and it scares him. The boon he granted you was no simple matter. So you granted my boon just like that? There's nothing to be gained from it for you? Why did you even agree to do it? Pharod falls silent for a moment. A dead man can keep no promises, and promises to a dead man are easy enough to make, corpse. You're a merchant, Pharod, not a Samaritan. There must have been another reason. Aye. Pharod's face suddenly peels back in fury, his skin flushing red. After you'd strung up a score of my blood on the hive walls, I had enough. Reason to promise you the plains themselves. Then your butchering self comes to my home in my kip to demand a boon of me. Pharod calms himself, though his face is still flushed. Aye, I agreed. I'm sorry about your people, Pharod, for what that's worth. Pharod tisks. No matter. Them bodies served me well enough. The Dusties pay the same for fresh debtors as for old. Was that the only reason you agreed to my requests? You knew things about me, things only I knew. You knew I was greedy for something beneath sigil, and you put a name and picture on it. The bronze sphere, you said. I didn't think you would fetch it for me. He chuckles. Yet you did. Aye, the plains turn in strange ways. And that's all you know? All I know? Nay, but it's all I know about you, corpse. Fine, next question. What did you take off my body after I died? I? Pharod licks his lips. Why, I took nothing, corpse. His face splits in a grin. Then I wasn't the one that found your body. Who did? Pharod smiles widens, pulling the pasty folds of flesh back from his face like a curtain. My daughter, the rose of my eye, the sweetest of my family, and the sharpest wit of them all. He licks his dry lips and sighs in mock sadness. Such a cruel tongue on her. Your daughter? Who?
Updated my journal.
My darling girl, Annah. She found you dead as a debtor can be, in a place where most collectors wouldn't go for a mountain of coppers. Could she pluck something off you? Could be not. He leans in, shaking his head. You'll have to ask her, for it's not her Da's place to say. Don't lie to me, Pharod. You're a merchant, and you always take a cut from your workers. What did Annah give you for my body? Ah, yes, my tribute. Pharod folds his withered hands over his crutch almost protectively. There's no telling what was from you or not, corpse. Most like there was nothing. Pharod, my patience is at an end. If you don't hand over what was stolen from me, I will see to the dustmen know where to find you. Pharod is silent for a moment. He taps his fingers against his crutch, slowly. Well? Where has the decency of man gone? Pharod grumbles, shaking his head. A courtesy I am doing for you, corpse. Such a courtesy. Pharod parting with anything. It'd be the dead book for me if anyone heard. Wait here. Move not a yard. I shall return.
Updated my journal.
After a long while, he returns, his crutch cackling against the flagstones. In his hands he holds a number of items which he passes off to you. You will be silent on this and accept the blessing that I even remembered. A few hundred coppers, a scrap of paper, and a ring? Very well. Now, who was it that found me again? Anna. Right. I'll ask her. Where is she? Where's Anna? He shrugs. She's hiding in the shadows here. I expect listening to trade us the chant. I called for her after you went below. Had to ask her if you were really in the dead book when she found you or not. He chuckles dryly, then takes a deep breath and calls out to the darkness. Anna, stop smithering in those shadows and come greet our guests. Bro, she got a tail? The fuck? Damn.
Oh,
What now? She turns to see a striking red-haired girl dressed in leather armor. You didn't even hear her enter the chamber. Her right arm is covered with a series of interlocking plates that look as they were taken from the skin of some creature, and a horned shoulder piece protects her left arm. Oddly enough, she has a tail that is flicking back and forth as you watch. You're Anna. I met you in the hive outside the mortuary, correct? The girl ignores you and turns to Pharod. What's this about, then? I'm not playing the leash pull with this scared dog, so I'm not. Get one of your other gullies to do it. Anna, rose in my eye. Have I not taught you to respect the dead? A thin smile warns across Pharod's face, and he makes a slight bow towards you. This resourceful corpse needs to know where you found him. What are you on about? She squints at you. He's not a deader. Ah, yes, my mistake. Pharod nods, then his voice drops dangerously. Yet, my darling Anna, that still makes it your mistake, for this one only had 1 foot in the dead book when you brought him to me. He taps his crutch against the flagstones with a light tap. He woke up, saw me out. Most embarrassing. So... Anna glances at you, then shrugs. He should be playing deader on the hive when I'm out and about, or he'll wake up in a Dusty's arms, he will. Maybe you could have checked to see if I was alive before dumping me off there. Oh, aye, maybe you should have been more careful, and maybe you wouldn't have been lying face down, stone still on the alley cobbles like a deader. Enough of this. Where did you find my body? Show him where you found his body, Anna. Pharod taps his crutch against the emphasis. Take this to the haunted alley. Pharod studies Anna for a moment, then grins and turns to you. If you happen to lose my darling Anna on the way to the alley corpse, you come back and see Pharod. I'll guide you.
Updated my journal.
Tch. Anna sneers at Pharod, then throws a glance at you. Come on, then, and keep your steps quick, Jig. I've little time to waste on the likes of you. Very well, let's head there now. Anna points at the door in front of you. Through there's where you want to be. Alright, let's head on in. Whew. Bruh.
Done.
Yeah. Sorry. Where are we? The hive. Alright, suppose we should save. Before we go in...
aye. What is it you want then?
Anna, didn't I meet you in the hive before I found Pharod? She nods a little wearily. Ah, yes, you did. I haven't forgot you. When I asked about Pharod, you told me he was south and west of the mortuary, when he wasn't. Aye, I did, and you done the same if you were scared wreck came to me and asked where you could find my da. She shrugs. You found him anyway, so I don't want to hear you carrying on about it, I don't. What were you doing by the mortuary? It's my territory. I was looking for deaders, I was. She looks you up and down, then smirks. Found a walking one, I did. Anna, did you find anything on my body before you brought it to the mortuary? Anna looks at you wearily, and her tail stops flicking for a moment, then resumes slower than before. Aye, mayhap. I found something, but if I found anything, it's mine, by right it is. The other bits are in Pharod's keeping. Anna, I don't have time for games. What did you find on my corpse? Well, you had some fist irons, you did, and a little bit of jink, but I left that for the Dusties so that they didn't think I was a wee bit honest. You had an ugly ring that I kept. She dips her finger into her arm bracers and pulls forth a small ring with a stone mounted on it. Worth thrice more than the jink and the irons it was. She studies the ring and squints. Too bad it's too ugly to wear. I'd like that ring back. Now. She studies the ring with a frown, glances at you, then back at the ring. With a sneer, she flicks the ring to you. Didn't want the ugly thing anyway, I didn't. Fine, now when you mentioned that some stuff from my body had gone into Pharod's keeping, what did you mean? Aye, Pharod takes a bit of each corpse we find, he does. It's his right, being lord of the village and all. Off of every corpse you all find? That's a lot of corpses. Oh, hey, to hear, old Stuttercrutch has got a stash pit somewhere too close to him. It's the only reason I can see why he'd be set up kip in that filthy, dafty hall it is. Nothing but stinking shadows. Really? And that's where he puts the tribute he gets? Aye, she squints at you. Now, what are you on about? What are you planning, to bob him? No, I've no cause to do such a thing. Pharod's done me no harm. Well, good. I was warning against such a thing, I am. Pharod can be a daft sometimes, but he means all fiends split when he gets worked up, she frowns. And he loves his keepsakes, he does. But where would he keep it all? If he's been at the village for as long as he says, he would have amassed quite a collection. Well, Anna is silent for a moment. I know he has never left his hall to get his tribute when he needed it. He wouldn't want to walk far with that lame of a leg of his, though. Aye, that's true, but only if you don't watch him careful. He isn't lame, though he puts a fair show about being weak in the leg. So that crutch of his could be a portal key? Anna frowns in thought for a moment, then slowly nods her head. Aye, there's a thought, she shrugs. I wouldn't know how'd you use it, though. Maybe you just need to have it. Maybe we'll find out. I had some other questions. Anna, when Pharod went to return the tribute he took from my body, he vanished for a while, then came back, but he never left Ill-Wind Court. Do you know where he went? Oi, to hear the tale of Stuttercrutch as he got a stash pit somewhere close to him. It's the only reason I can see why he set up Kifty in that 50 Dafty Hall. Nothing but stinking shadows. Anna, can you train me in thieving skills? Eh, she frowns. What are you on about? I want to give up weapons craft for a while and take up stealthier pursuits. She looks you up and down once, then looks at you with a queer expression. Are you serious? Yes, I want to learn how to be a thief. Can you teach me? She looks at you for a moment, then shakes her head. Nah, you're too slow, you are. You move like a sack of stone, she frowns. You need to be quieter on your feet and quicker to strike for more to be able to teach you anything. Very well, then. Let's see. Let's see.
Come on in, Cutter! Come on in, Cutter, you're gonna love this!
Let's go in here.
Are you daft? We'll draw the lady's gaze. If we stay here, we will.
Fel turns his face to you as you approach. Next to you, Anna stiffens as she catches sight of Fel. Anna, what's wrong? Are you daft? Anna turns to you, and you suddenly realize she's frightened. Are you so picky to dance in the lady's shadow you'll brandy words with this one? Let's give this place a laugh before we get pinned in the dead book. What's the problem? It's Fel. Anna throws a fearful glance at the creatures, presumably Fel. Let's be way, eh? No good to come here being... I'll ask again, what's the problem? He's a dabbus who's not a dabbus. He walks around the ground. Anna's voice drops to a whisper and she starts trembling. No more questions. Let's give this place the laugh. Anna, no harm will come to you while I'm here. Now tell me what's wrong. Anna throws a frightened glance at Fel. Fel's a dabbus who angered her. It's said he's a dabbus who isn't a dabbus, and it's time, and the time's close when the lady gaze will fawn upon him, so it will. Her? You mean the Lady of Pain? Aye, and heed your tongue. Anna makes another semicircle in the air in front of her as you mention the lady's name. The dabbus work for the lady, and she protects them. Let's be away, eh? I'd like to speak to Fel first. Anna grabs her arm. Please, nay, nay. No good'll come of it. Anyone speaking to Fel could draw the lady's gaze. I don't want to die, I don't. To your surprise, Anna looks close to tears. Be quiet. Nothing will happen. Now I'm going to speak to Fel, and I want you to be silent. Anna flushes as is slapped. She snarls, her tail lashing and her familiar anger resurfacing. I don't know why bother. Go on, talk to him if your tongue slits your own throat. Very well. The Dabbus waits patiently, its hands tucked into its sleeves. A series of symbols materialize above its head, then dissipate, and a question mark appears. I had some questions for you. Did you do the tattoos on this dismembered arm I found, Fel? Fel examines it for a moment, tracing the patterns with his finger. He then looks up, and a series of rebusses form, hazy at first, then come sharply into focus. The arm is yours, the tattoos are mine. One tattoo speaks of a time when your path was shared by 4 others. What 4 others? They speak of 4. Shall I tell you their hearts?
Updated
Yes.
my journal.
The symbols swirl before you as you piece them together. One unloved who loves one who does not love. One who does not see what others see and sees what others do not. One who is familiar and bound with duty. One who is a slave and his chains are wounds. As you finish translating, the 4 strings seem to form themselves into links and they merge into a chain. The chain bends until it is a symbol you feel you recognize. That symbol, what is it? The symbol sharpens, gaining edges that are almost painful to your eyes. It is Torment. It is that which draws all tormented souls to you. Fel nods at your left arm, at your shoulder. The flesh knows it suffers even when the mind is forgotten, and so you wear the rune always. You mentioned there were other tattoos on the arm? What others? Fel examines the arm again, tracing the other faded tattoos upon its surface. As he does, they each appear as a symbol above his head, hazy at first, then coming into focus sharply. He turns to face you. Once forgotten, now remembered. You may hear them again if you wish. I would like to see what these tattoos are. Can I see what tattoos you now have to share? Oh, okay. Interesting. Alright, I think we'll actually end this episode here. So thank you very much for joining me on this playthrough of Planescape Torment. On the next episode, we will continue to try and figure out what's going on. Seems like that's every episode here. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. As always, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and we'll see you all in the next one.